I said things like, if you're not happy with the system, you can walk away.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How you started your first business, and why made you think that doing a franchise of that business was a good idea? From where you got the source of inspiration? And then I saw different brands there, so I think that you have created different brands, and then you have franchises all these different brands. So how this process work, and since when how you decided that this is what you're gonna do, or what happened first, what get you inspired to continue?
Well, my start, first of all, I didn't intend to be in business at all. I intended to be an academic. I did a PhD back in the 70s, early 80s, looking at ways to understand things like the rise and fall of civilizations. Came up with some very unorthodox thinking, which basically killed my academic career. I had no prospect of a job, which is what I expected to do. But I had implications which are all to do with biology, even though it was a history PhD. So what I needed to do was to make a lot of money so I could fund a research institute. That's my first step. Now,
wow.
In this time, I had no money at all. I was deeply in debt, okay? What I had was a part-time lawn mowing business, which I did help fund my studies. And it was a good business because it kept me outside at the weekends, and it's healthy, and it pays quite well, actually, compared with, like being a barman or something like that. And I enjoy it, okay? So there I am. I got no money. I'm deeply in debt. So I start mowing lawns for a living. And I focused on how to be the best lawn mowing gardening contractor I could. The best equipment, the best systems. I always looked to have the best service to clients, the best way to cut edges, the best way to do the job fast, the best way to travel, the extras that I could do, learning new skills. I really worked on that. Because I gave good service, I started picking up a lot of customers, and so I had to put subcontractors on. Okay, and that was problematic because I wasn't very good at controlling them, not great customer service. And then I stumbled into the idea of building up and selling lawn mowing rounds. So I started to build up a customer base and I'd sell them off and use my subcontractors to do that. So this is going on for a while, and I was doing all right, paid off my debt, even managed to buy a house. I was starting to do all right. And then this company comes in called VIP, which was a lawn mowing franchise company. And they were in Adelaide, in a different city. I thought, no trouble to me. They're not a threat to me. And they came in and they came to Melbourne. And I panicked. I thought, these guys, 250 franchisees. I've got about, 10 subbies. No uniform, nothing.
Wow.
Okay. I thought,
they all look very organized, They're
going to crush me. They're going to absolutely demolish me. There's no way I compete with this. So I ring up the state manager. I say to him, David, I'm Jim from Jim's Mowing. I didn't call myself in those days. I'd like to work with you and build up your company because I can't compete with you. And he said, no, thanks. So I thought, all right.
Wow.
Let's try and compete. So there was a franchising expo that year. So I went into the expo. They gave you a name tag. I took it up, put it in my pocket, went up to the stand, VIP stand, and said, how does your business tell me about? Very interested in it. Now, I don't tell lies. I'm a lousy liar. So he didn't ask me, fortunately, why I wanted to know, because I would have told him. But so he told me all about how it worked and gave me this brochure and stuff. Then the state manager came in and said, that's Jim Penman. Don't tell him anything else. So they kicked me off the stand. I went away and I thought, all right, okay, I can see benefits to what they're doing. I can see why it would work. But you know what? I reckon I can make a system that would work better for franchisees. That was the idea I had.
Wow.
That was all of it. And I had no money, not much money.
Thinking in the client. You were thinking in the client.
What about
franchisees, which is the first client?
That was my goal. That was my idea. So I spent 9 months arguing with lawyers. Most of the time, lawyers trying to say to me, you need to do this, give yourself more power. And I said, no, I want a system that I want to be part of. What protection? So I looked at all the things that people didn't like about the VIP system, like the fact that it was too difficult to get out of the contract, it wasn't working, and all kinds of stuff. Okay, there was things I didn't like. It was good things, but there were things I didn't like. If I was interested, I wouldn't want that. So I designed a contract, the system that I thought would be the best possible thing from the point of view of franchisees. And when I had what was the best possible contract, I then got together a few of my people, my best people, some people who bought lawn mowing runs off me, which are really good, the best ones, my best subbies, and said, okay, here's a contract I want to put in place for franchise system. Here's the contract. What do you think? Read through it. They'd look at it and say, well, I don't like this, don't like that. So I changed all those things. So I got a contract that was the best possible contract. And I put all sorts of clauses in it. I said things like, if you're not happy with the system, you can walk away. These days we charge them a few thousand, but they walk away. If I'm not giving you great service, you don't have to stay. You can build your business to any size you want and you don't pay any extra fees. Here's your base fees, your lead fees, but it doesn't go up whether you're turning over $2 million a year or $100,000 a year. The fees are the same. As many employees as you like. You own the right to your clients. You own them. I cannot take them off you without your consent. You can sell the rights to them. I cannot take them off you without your consent. You have an absolute right to renew your contract at the guild. I know that causes problems in franchising. And every future contract I give you must have this clause that guarantees. So I put all these protections and more into the contract. And somebody said to me at the time, and also the other thing I was determined to do too, because I knew from selling lawn mowing rounds, some people had failed, and they failed because they give poor customer service. So I said, I am not going to sell to anybody who I think there's any significant chance of failing. I do not want my franchisees to fail. Now, I thought this contract was so unreasonable and so self-limiting that I was going to knock back people. I would never grow that much. Somebody actually asked me at that time when I launched it, they said, if you're really successful, what do you think you might achieve someday? Now, bear in mind, my major rival had 250 franchisees. So I thought, look, I don't know if it's going to work really, but one day, if it does, I might have as many as 100 franchisees. I had no concept of going even beyond my state, Victoria, certainly not going international as we had to New Zealand and Canada. I had no thought of that. I just thought 100 franchisees would be fantastic. And the lawyer said to me, you're doing stupid things. Nobody ever heard about that. You're going to want to get more power. Actually, they say you're being too nice. That's why they put it. But so you're giving too many rights to your franchisees. So I started to grow. And I tell you what, it just astonished me. But I worked out pretty soon. I had this weapon, this fantastic weapon that nobody else had, that my rivals didn't have. And it was my list. Because when I used to sell lawn mowing rounds, I used to sell them as I do everything possible to look after the people who bought from me. And I'd put their name on a bit of white card, black text, their name and phone number, stick it on the board behind me. So if anybody interested in a lawn mowing round, I would say to them, why don't you contact the people who bought lawn rounds from me? Give them a ring, pick up someone from your area, ask them what it's like. And they ring them up and they say, what's Jim like? Oh, it's great. Does everything he says he will. He replaces lost jobs, no question. He's always ready to give you advice. He's just a great guy. Great, do business with this guy. That's what they used to say. So franchising, the same thing. Here's a list of all my franchisees, which in those days you weren't required to give, and their phone numbers. Somebody come to me and they say, okay, you're running a business for your basement. Here's VIP, bigger company, fancy office in South Melbourne. They're doing really well. Why should I buy from you? And I said, okay, well, there's some differences, which I can explain to you. I wouldn't bag them, but I'd say, here's a list of my franchisees with their phone numbers. I want you to go and I want you to ring as many as possible. And then I want you to go to them and get their list. Now, I was being a little bit ingenuous because I knew they wouldn't give the list because my people were overwhelmingly happy. And somebody would ring and they'd say, where's the catch? This system seems too good. And he comes back to me and says, there's no catch. I had one guy ring up every one of my first franchisees, became one of my best franchisees. So I looked after them. And you know what? With time, the lawyer said you're going to want to get power back. I actually gave more power to my franchisees. I gave them the power, for example, to vote out their franchisor, to change to a different franchise or a different division. The franchisor has no say. Also, to veto changes to their own manuals. As far as I know, we're the only company in the world that does that. So there was this relentless focus on franchisee success. We've got 5,500 close to franchisees now. Every single one of my franchisees, I really try hard to greet them personally at training because I give courses and I go and talk to them and chat to them and, punt fist with them, get to know them. And I say, here's my name, here's my phone number, here's my email address. Don't give the phone number to anybody outside the company or I'll kill you. Sorry, don't do that. But if you have a problem, you ring me. You contact me anytime, daytime, evenings, weekends. I don't mind. You contact me anytime because you're important to me. I want to know what's going wrong. So I keep really close contact with my people. So it's that kind of attitude. And I didn't honestly think it would work out that well. Quite frankly, my thought was this is something I'll do until some real potential money spinner comes along. But I had this focus, this single-minded, fanatical focus. How can I look after my people better? And part of that is giving better and better and better customer service. Not so much for its own sake, because emotionally speaking, my franchise is the most important, but because I know if my franchises give great service, they'll tend to do better, not only as individuals, but as a group. So I can be very tough on customer service. I personally get involved in the place. You know, you think we probably service millions of customers a year. If any customer has a complaint that doesn't get properly attended to the first time and they come back again, that gets sent to me and I will sit in that till something happens.
Wow.
And we will do whatever it takes to fix it. I personally get involved in individual problems with franchisees, individual customer complaints. That's basically the idea. And I have to tell you, I was very surprised that it turned out so well, because in most ways, really, Harry, I'm a total nong. There's so many things I'm bad at, but I do one or two things quite well.
Follow us for more interviews with the world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.